Well, it's time actually to move on to our Thursday program, which is taking us back to the a theme of Franz Liszt and Hector Berlioz. So this time, Liszt will be represented by very popular symphonic poem Les Preludes, and the Berlioz will be represented by another milestone in his composition, which called Harold in Italy, with a symphony which was written for Paganini, who didn't care for it much because the viola part, which he was supposed to play as a soloist, did not strike him as difficult or virtuoso or exposed. Therefore, he returned it with appreciation, but turned it down. In between, we are going to have very interesting concerto, which also I don't think was performed there at all.
It could have been, but it probably
Yeah.
wasn't.
No, no, it wasn't. It's a double concerto by Max Bruch, originally written for clarinet and viola and orchestra, but it will be performed in a violin and viola version by Feigard sisters, Kristen and Tracy Feigard. Both sisters are members of Peninsula Music Festival Orchestra, and both of them have a tremendous soloistic talent. Therefore, it is my pleasure to introduce them for the second time. Actually, they already performed once a piece by Alexander Tchaikovsky,
Yes.
Distant Dreams of Childhood. Therefore, it is their welcome return on stage together.
Well, you know, when you think of people receiving talent
Yeah.
from the Almighty, it's often tempting to just think of, a line of people coming through and receiving their gifts, but it's very clear that both Kristen and Tracy doubled back and went through a couple more times, because they're not only talented string players, but they're both keyboard players of significant capability, and have done so much musically in a relatively short amount of time. They're both very young.
Yes. Anyway, we are certainly looking forward to feature them. I'm very proud to have both of them as members of Peninsula Music Festival. And then, of course, Kristen will stay on stage to perform the solo part in Harold in Italy, which Paganini unfortunately turned down, but she didn't turn it down.
Well, you mentioned in discussing the first Thursday program
Yeah.
the influence of not only nature and certainly some political things too on romantic music, but also literature in
Absolutely.
such a significant way. And the list is programmatic in the sense that it basically relates to different periods of a human life and has that element of story behind it. The Harold in Italy is a story. It's
It is
from an epic
from
by Byron. Yes.
Absolutely. I said it first.
I think you did. I finished it first.
Right.
But you started it first.
Yeah. Very well. Of course, it's titled symphony, and of course it is not really a symphony because each of the segments or movements has a specific poetic name related to the poem by Byron. Anyway,
I'm just thinking about one other aspect of Berlioz that
Yeah.
kind of fascinates me, and it's probably precisely the reason that Paganini didn't receive this work or embrace it, and that is that Berlioz was not afraid to exercise a great expansiveness in his writing and lyrical nature. I think of the movement from the Requiem that's just basically almost an ostinato that in a lot of hands would have been monotonous, but Berlioz knew how to expand it and make that work. And he thought in big gestures, and I think that this is a very lyrical piece of music.
oh, definitely, because the only bombastic and hilarious in a way, hazardous music is in the last movement, which has a lot of alcoholic beverages prior to the dance. Right?
We could do a whole program. We could have Beethoven 6 and the drunk people and
Yes.
and even Moldau, because those people get drunk too. There's a lot of drinking in classical music,
Yeah, I love
especially
that.
afterwards. Don't you agree?
Yes.
We don't discuss that.
Well, anyway, I just love this piece. I found that the whole world of music lover is clearly divided between those who love Harold in Italy and those who hate it. There's somehow nobody in the middle. But I just love the piece, and so I'm looking forward to perform that.
I would
piece.
never want to hear it conducted or performed by somebody who wasn't in the camp of people who love it. That would not be good.
No, I agree with you. Anyway, I believe that it is another jewel of the program. And having said that, I would like to move on.